Hello and welcome to Coffee Talk, morning show where I talk Manchester United and drink a coffee. Today we've got the very easy task of fixing Manchester United. It is a difficult task to do, of course, and there are multiple ways in which I think we can do it. I'm going to focus on everything we can do, the changes that we can make on the pitch, because, you know, I haven't got £6-7 billion, whatever the Glazers want in for the club to be sold. But, you know, things can definitely improve on the pitch, even with the players that we've got, even with the injuries that we have. So I'm going to talk about the problems that Manchester United have and then how to fix them. But without further ado, let's get into it. So I think the first thing I want to look at is the match against Crystal Palace. If you have a look at the stats tell you basically everything. I have a look at these and I think, wow, are we back in the Louis van Gaal era? 77% possession, 4 shots on target. My guy, that is Louis van Gaal. Like, down to a T. Just loads of possession, not doing anything with it. I mean, we had 19 goal attempts, but, I mean, it shows you the quality of the chances with 4 shots on goal. Our expected goals is less than 2 as well. So, even though we had 19 attempts, expected goals less than 2. And, you know, so that seems an issue. Creating chances, creating high-quality chances seems to be an issue in this game. But it's not just this game, is it? We have a -4 goal difference. In recent weeks, our defence, and against Crystal Palace at the weekend, I would say our defence wasn't an issue. Obviously, it has been, but against these weaker opposition, this run of weaker opposition that we've had in back-to-back games against Crystal Palace and then Burnley, our defence wasn't the issue. Creating chances has been the issue. So I want to focus on that. Against the bigger teams, when we come to them, we might have to have a different approach. But against these smaller teams, in which you're going to have Manchester United should have most of the possession, and we take the game to them. I think this should work. And the reason why, what I'm going to say, I think is going to work, is because it has worked. It has worked in these games. It's just a case of repeating it. But yeah, Manchester United have moved. This is the situation that we are in. Manchester United are now in 10th. We switched places with Crystal Palace at the weekend. And we actually have the worst goal difference in the top 12. Fulham have got worse. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's only 7 teams out of 20 that have got a worse goal difference than us. At least we're not Chelsea, though. That's a positive. But yeah, absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. But there are something that I want to highlight right now, and I'm going to show you clips from previous games in which we have. This is the last 3 games. Well, against Crystal Palace at the weekend was a little bit different. We created a number of chances, but you know that game, I didn't understand Palace's motivation there. They just didn't want to be there, to be honest. Yeah, I think that was that. We did not come against, even though it was Crystal Palace on in the Carabao Cup midweek. That wasn't Premier League quality at all. But we did play a lot better, and I want to highlight three highlights in which we have looked the most dangerous in recent weeks, and there are 4 examples, but I couldn't find one. But yeah. Without further ado, let's get into the clips. Okay, I'm not going to say anything, right? I'm going to show you the 3 clips, and then I'm going to see In fact, no. I'll talk through them. Okay, here is number 1. Do I go full screen? Yeah, I'll go full screen. Okay, so this is Højlund's disallowed goal. Okay, that's number 1. Rashford gets to the byline, pulls it back. Højlund goal. Disallowed because it was a bloody centimetre, or was it, off the pitch. Okay, that's number 1. Numero 2. Number 2. That is against Crystal Palace at the weekend. Garnacho getting to the byline and pulling it back. Okay, number 2. Good win by Mount in possession. Number 3. Look, we've scored a goal here. I wonder how we scored it. How could it be? I do wonder. This is the opening goal of the game when the team aren't stretched because they're not looking to get back in the game. You know, Crystal Palace were very difficult to beat at the weekend because they had every single man behind the ball, right? They were not trying to create chances at all. Once they went a goal ahead, it was only going to be one team that would score. It would be Manchester United. But because, you know, Crystal Palace just sat every man behind the ball, it was either going to finish 1-0, 2-1 to United, or most likely it would finish 1-0 because United weren't creating chances. But Crystal Palace were happy with that. And yeah, we didn't score. And this is the final one. Let's see. So this is a... Oh, look. Let's have a look. It's a switch of play here. Oh. That's weird, isn't it? Delo getting to the byline and pulling it back. Right, so that's 3 chances, 3 goals that were scored in recent weeks. In a week that we've in times where we've looked not creating chances at all. We only scored 1 goal against Brighton, which was just a long range effort. We didn't break a team down with that. That was Hannibal Mabry just banging one in from about 30 yards. So, you know, in terms of team play there, patterns of play, there's nothing. It's Hannibal Mabry having a pot shot from and it's gone in. Great goal, but you know, in that same game, the only goal we scored by actually breaking down our opponents was disallowed was Rashford pulling the ball back. You've got one of the 3 goals that we scored was Garnacho. I'm trying to think of the other one, but the game was a lot more spread and stretched when we scored the other 2 goals. But the opening goal of the game, you know, when Crystal Palace are solid, they're more rigid in their formation, they're more resolute in defence, their motivation is there because we haven't scored yet. So their motivation, their heads, you know, their confidence is still there. That was Garnacho, that was a pullback. And then you've got the chance at the weekend, that perhaps our best chance, really. Perhaps our best chance, even though a United player didn't touch it. You've got it coming off 2 Palace defenders, and it's just waiting for a United player just to mop it up, just to tap it in. And they've come from pullbacks. And this shouldn't really come as a surprise because Man City score this goal every single week. You know, Man City normally beat teams by, you know, 2 or 3 goals. Obviously, they lost it against Wolves at the weekend. And they normally have at least one of these goals. In fact, I would say more than one. If Man City have scored 4 or 5 goals, they've probably got two or more of these type of goals where they get to the byline, pull it back, and then it's just a tap in. So this is a very effective pattern of play. But why can we not do this more? You know, like I say, fixing Manchester United. I'm not trying to rewrite the rules here. I'm not trying to tell them to do something that they can't do, that they're not doing. We just need to do this more. And how can we achieve that? Okay. How can we achieve that? Let me go to this one. Okay. Wonderful. So, one of the difficulties that we are having, obviously, at the moment, Reguilon is injured. So we have a non-natural fullback in Amrabat at left back. Amrabat is not a player who's going to keep going on the overlap and helping out Marcus Rashford, which on this side, it's always going to be difficult. It's always going to be difficult for Marcus Rashford or whoever is on the left, whether it's Garnacho or Marcus Rashford, to get to the byline and pull it back when, there's not another player helping him out. However, Marcus Rashford does have the pace and power and the skill to be able to do that on his own. Okay? But what Amrabat can do, and what he did do in the Crystal Palace match, was he came inside and he switched the play. He switched the play very quickly. Okay? Now, this lineup isn't anything. This lineup is just a predicted lineup that I did versus Palace, I think. So this is not a lineup that we have used in recent weeks. But I'll change the team. So what we need, I think, is in order for this to happen. So our fullbacks, well, particularly Delo's got a very important job because, like I said, we can't. Hopefully, Reguilon comes back quick, right? And I think, thankfully, Reguilon's injury is not long term. Not like Martinez. But, so when Reguilon comes back here, it will be easier to do. I never thought that. I mean, bloody hell, man. Missing Reguilon, like, begging for, please, Reguilon, when you're back. I was, like, bloody crying that Reguilon was joining United. But obviously it was an essential thing because of the injuries, but still. And when Luke Shaw comes back, near Christmas, but this will be great as well. But, not ideal. But yeah, Reguilon's not going to make overlap. He hasn't got the legs for it. He's not a natural left back, and I don't blame him for that because he's not a natural left back. But what he can do, he can get the ball and switch the play, which, as we saw in that Carabao Cup match, although Garnacho did score a goal, you had Pellistri with 90% of the ball and Garnacho with 10% of the ball because Amrabat would get it, come inside and switch the play. And then we want width. We want players that can get to the byline. Who's more likely to get to the byline? Is it going to be Bruno taking on a player getting to the byline? No, that's not what Bruno's going to do. Bruno's going to come inside and try and create opportunities. But we get crowded out. We move the ball too slow. We get crowded out. And we end up just going backwards and forwards, trying to create an opportunity and nothing comes of it. We end up with loads of possession and not enough chances made. So, Pellistri is an important player. And the thing is, the worrying thing here is Anthony. If Anthony comes back into the squad, which he will do, I don't think he helps us out. He doesn't help us out in this regard at all. Because Anthony is a left-footed player on the right-hand side that cuts inside all the time because he's got no right foot. So let me try and find Anthony. Where is he? Can't bloody find him. Oh, well. This can be Anthony for the time being because I'm not going to spend that much time trying to find him. This can be Anthony. Yeah, so Anthony cuts inside and then it gets congested, especially if we are very slow on the transition, which we have been in recent weeks, which is another problem. But Pellistri is important, even though now Anthony's back, I think he'll be dropped. So I think our problem potentially could get even worse. But Delo's very important, in which, that makes Delo's job even more important because if Anthony comes inside, then he might take a player with him, in which case, if Delo's on the overlap and stays wide, then the opportunities are still going to create themselves especially because Anthony might take a player with him when he comes inside. The opportunity is still going to be there, but instead of having two players that are able to do this in the winger in Pellistri and the fullback, you've now got one player because Anthony always cuts inside. So you've got one player that can do it on the right-hand side, the fullback, and you've got one player that can do it on the left-hand side because Amrabat's playing in Rashford. Okay? So, natural width, and, you know, I would give these players mini objectives, right? I would say, okay, now that it wouldn't work for Amrabat, but you could say, Delo, I want you to put 3 crosses in from the byline, okay? You can say that to Pellistri as well. Right, I want you to get in to put 3 crosses in, 3 pullbacks from the byline. Okay, that is your job. Or say to Delo, right, I want you to do 5 overlaps. 5 overlaps in the game in the final third. Okay, Pellistri, I want you to put 3 fullbacks. So even if the opportunity doesn't present itself, because, you know, the football is not robotic. You know, they're not going to... it might not present itself, okay? But at least it's in their mind. The pattern of play that you want them to get is in the player's mind, okay? And that is our most effective pattern of play, as I've just demonstrated from the clips. To Marcus Rashford as well, because Marcus Rashford, he's got so much pace and power. He is able to get into these opportunities. The easiest of any of our team. But, you know, he cuts inside too much, trying to look for a shot himself. If you said to Marcus Rashford, right, your main job for today is to hit that byline and cut it back, you know, Rasmus Højlund has been starved so far. Rasmus Højlund will be laughing. That's how he got the disallowed goal that he got. That's how he scored. You know. And a centimetre out of play. Absolutely, that would have been his. Would that have been his first goal? Or no, it would have been his second goal, wouldn't it? So yeah, every time we put a non-natural wide player in Bruno Fernandes on the right hand side, let's say we put Mason Mount, we haven't yet, on the right hand side, that stifles what we're going to do. Okay, having Amrabat there stifles what we're doing. However, what Amrabat can do, like I've already said, Amrabat can come inside and switch the play. And just in a general point, the transition is so important. Moving the ball forward quickly is so important because you have their fullbacks on the overlap, the other side for another team. You have their fullbacks going on the overlap. You know, let's say this is a Crystal Palace player, right? You have their fullbacks going on the overlap. So if we have the ball, say the ball breaks down, the ball is with Lindelof, and then we go to Casemiro, and then we go to Delo, and then we go to Mount, and then we go to Rashford, and then we go back again. The Crystal Palace player has time, or the opposition player has time to work back. In which case, it's back to being 2-on-2 with the because the fullback's probably going to follow Delo, and it's back to being 2-on-2. So the winger's helping out the fullback. Whereas if we pick up the ball, okay, it goes to Casemiro or Mount. It goes wide really easily, really early. Or if it's with Amrabat, Amrabat gets it and does that switch of play, that he did quickly in the Carabao Cup. Then you're creating a 2-on-1 opportunity if Delo can get forward quick and the fullbacks, you know, because as soon as if this player's worked hard getting forward in attack, and Delo makes a sprint as soon as the ball breaks down to overlap, this player ain't going to catch him. This player isn't going to work that hard. You can't work 100% going forward and 100% working back. Delo is going to be a 2-on-1 opportunity. So because we're not going to be able to do it on the left side with Amrabat, if he can switch the play quickly, then we're going to present those opportunities. So I think natural width is important. Garnacho, I would put in, to be honest. So Marcus Rashford, he's, you know, I this is a different video that I made for TikTok. but I don't understand why Marcus Rashford plays so much when he's playing poor. You know, if you've got a player that plays in spells, like he's either unplayable at times for a good run of games, which he was last season, unplayable, or completely useless for a good run of games. When he's in the completely useless spell, why do you continue to play him? It doesn't make sense. You know he's going to be poor. I know Marcus Rashford in the next game is going to be poor because he's a player that plays in spells. Unless his spell is over, he's going to be poor. You know, and he's in a spell where he's poor. So I don't understand why we can't drop him to the bench. Because, as well, in the last 30 minutes of a game, when players' legs are tired, bringing on Marcus Rashford is a fantastic thing to do. A player with Marcus Rashford's explosive pace and power, that's going to frighten players. You know, bringing on a Marcus Rashford with loads of energy in the final in the final 30 minutes, I think he'll find it easy to score. He'll find it easier to, with his fresh legs, he'll find it easier to create opportunities. And I think that'll do his confidence good. Okay, dropping him is not going to do his confidence good. But I think he's got more chance of getting a goal or an assist to regain his confidence coming off the bench the last 30 minutes than he has even playing 90 minutes for that reason. You know, players' tired legs. And it's not, and you know, you think of all the attributes of Marcus Rashford and you think he has all the attributes to be an incredible sort of like super sub. Of course, if he's playing well, you don't want to drop him to the bench, but still, it shouldn't be a worry to drop Marcus Rashford because with his attributes off the bench, he could have an incredible impact. And you can even say that to him. You don't say, we're going to drop you. We're going to say, right, okay, we want you to come off the bench the last 30 minutes and give everything. Instead of, you know, giving sort of 85% for 90 minutes, we want you to literally run yourself into the ground in just a 30-minute period. Every time we've got possession, I want you to make a run. When you get it, I want you to take on the fullback. Let's go on the outside, go to the byline, pull it back. That's what I want. That's what I want, and that's what you could say to Marcus Rashford. But I would start Garnacho because he's looked, like I said, last 30 minutes that he came on, he played better. He played better than Rashford did all game against Palace. Is that because, you know, he's fresh? He's against a fullback with tired legs? It could well be. Well, you could see the same with Marcus Rashford, couldn't you? So yeah, Manchester United's problem in recent weeks has been scoring goals or creating opportunities to score goals. But when we have looked good in attack, it's been getting to the byline and pulling back. We've scored goals from it. We've created chances from it. Sorry about that. So every pattern of play, everything we can do to get in those positions, the better. Whether that'll be our fullbacks overlapping, whether that be Amrabat because he can't do that, getting the ball, switching the play quickly to stretch the play. Whether that'll be just in general getting the ball to our wide players as early as possible, whether that be Casemiro or Mount or even, you know, missing them out and going straight from the even the keeper or Varane or Lindelof, switching the play earlier. Whether that be giving the players objectives in their mind. Okay, right, we want you to hit the byline and do 5 pullbacks in this match. Okay, with either of them. Whether it would be overlaps. Okay, yeah, we want to give you 5 overlaps. That's what we need. That's what we need to do. Because it doesn't allow the winger to get back. If the play breaks down, if their play breaks down, we get the ball and we move the ball quick in these positions, get Pellistri on the ball quick, get Garnacho on the ball quick, then their winger or fullback probably don't have chance to recover and get back in defence. So yeah, that is how I think in the short term we can fix Manchester United, and in terms of creating opportunities, which has been our biggest problem. So let me know what you think. And unfortunately, with Anthony coming back, I don't think he will play, and I don't think that helps the situation. I think we're going to see us come inside a lot more and get crowded out. Do like and subscribe. I appreciate you for watching. Join tomorrow when there'll be another coffee talk. And also, this is a double header for you, man, tomorrow. Absolute scenes. A double header. Manchester United face Galatasaray. I almost wish we didn't. It's because it's a must-win game, and we can't win a game at the minute. But it's a double header. A coffee talk in the morning and a live watch along as well. So do hit the subscribe button. I massively appreciate you. You've been absolute legends. I've been RNA Deck. This has been Coffee Talk. This has been Fixing Manchester United. Ciao, ciao. See you tomorrow.